Hello and welcome to the top 40 of our James Bond villains countdown. We're really getting to the higher reaches of the list now. We're into the real, almost Premier League of James Bond villains. So let's get straight into it with number 40, and it is Vargas from Thunderball. Now, Vargas does not drink, Vargas does not smoke, Vargas does not make love. What does he do? Well, I'm not sure because he just kind of acts like a mostly normal bloke throughout most of the movie. I think the biggest plus to Vargas is that he has a really good death. The harpoon gun death in Thunderball is one of the really cool bits from that film that everyone remembers. But apart from that, he doesn't do a whole lot, apart from just be intimidating with his reputation. But clearly Largo really respects him, even mentions him after his death, which is unusual for a villain. So I guess Vargas's activities in life are kind of just not in the movie, but they are there, if you see what I mean. So 39, we have Lashifa from Casino Royale, and this is a very unique villain because Lashifa's story is unlike any other main Bond villain. You know, normally the villain has a scheme, they're in control, they're confident, they know what they're doing, they're always on top of things until maybe the last 20 minutes and Bond gets the upper hand. But in this film, Lashifa's he's almost a beaten man, almost from the start of the movie. He's got these debt problems, he's on the run. It's just a really different type of story for a villain, and even the other villains, the more what you would call minor villains in Casino Royale, sort of treat Lashifa if he's under them, you know, as if he's just an annoying stain who's they're going to kill him. You know, it's quite bizarre, but so just a good villain in that respect. Casino Royale really tears the rulebook up in so many ways, and even his death, it's about half an hour before the end of the movie. It's just a really odd structure, Casino Royale, in so many ways. But Lashifa is good. I like his card playing abilities and his sort of mathematical intuition that he has. That's really interesting. Not so big on the whole tear duct thing. That was kind of incidental for me, but certainly worthy of 39. 38, we have what I call screen Blowfelt or behind the glass Blowfelts. This is the hidden Blowfelt from Rush with Love and Thunderball. I've grouped these two into one because they're pretty much the same, and I guess the best thing about this type of Blowfelt is that even though you can't see them and they're not even the main villain, they are extremely vicious in both of these movies. So from Rush with Love, Blowfelt gets Kronstein killed for messing up, and in Thunderball he just kills underlings left, right and centre. He kills, well, there's the famous scene with the electric chair that was parodied in Austin Powers. The chair goes under the ground, comes back up without the villain on it anymore. That is just one of the most amazing Bond scenes. And then he has Angelo killed, he has Lippy killed. So basically he kills somebody for messing up, Angelo, and then he kills the person who hired the person who messed up just because. That's how vicious he is in Thunderball. So I really like this version of Blowfelt. 37, we have Zenya on a top. I used to really like Zenya around about the time GoldenEye came out, I guess, as all teenage lads did. But the more I've got older, I don't know, I don't like her as much these days. I think she's just not as entertaining the more you rewatch the movie. And the thing with the squeezing thigh things, I'm not even sure that can be done in real life. You know, squeeze somebody to death with your thighs. I think if somebody tried to do that to me, I don't think they could do it. I would invite any woman to try. I'll take that Pepsi challenge. Well, I mean, we'd have to do it with clothes on because my wife would have a problem with it otherwise. But I just don't think that can be done. Just really don't. Maybe to that big fat bearded admiral in the start of the movie, he looked really out of shape. Maybe it could be done to him, but Pierce Brosnan, looking in the prime of his life, like he's just spent 6 weeks in the gym, I just don't know. Really don't. Don't get me wrong, she is a really good villain on the whole. The only other criticism I would have is near the end of the film, there's a bit where she comes down the rope. This is a death scene, actually, and this has got one of the most obvious stunt doubles I've ever seen in my life. When you watch the movie, it's like the stunt double might as well just stop on the rope, say hello, and tell us all about what they've been doing lately in the world of stunt doubling. It's that obvious, but still a great villain, don't get me wrong. I'm just trying to explain why I'm sort of separating these really good villains at the top end of the list. So 36, we have Camelkhan, a really, really cool villain from Octopussy. He's got so many good lines. I love ones like, "Spend the money quickly, Mr. Bond." And that's a good one. And I like the fact that he just randomly has sheep's brains as part of his dinner routine. there's just so many cool scenes with Camelkhan. I like how he tries to hunt Bond with all of his kind of lackeys in the forest, and he's like, "Let the sport begin." There's just so many quotable lines. It's just brilliant. Oh, and another good one, and then I'll move on, I promise, is when he says, "Mr. Bond is indeed an extremely rare breed, soon to be made extinct." Just priceless. Love him. So, coming in then, we have reached number 36, and we're going to go to 35. It is Krillenko from Russia with Love, a fairly minor villain for this high in the list. But he's just a villain who really entertains me. He's only in a handful of scenes, but he doesn't actually have any lines, and I think the actor who played him, it's almost as if he tried to make up for that by being really kind of visual in what he does. If you watch him, like the gypsy camp scenes, the way he waves his gun to beckon to his comrades, he's like, it's a little bit over the top, and he has some other good scenes. I like the scene with where Bond's looking through the telescope into this meeting and you can't hear what's going on in the meeting. It's really mysterious, and his death scene is one of the best scenes from the early Bond films, where Kerin Bay and Bond just slowly figure out how they're going to snipe the guy as he comes out of the poster mouth. That's just a really, really cool scene. 34, we have Donald Pleasance's Blowfelt. For a long time, this was my favourite Blowfelt. I love Donald Pleasance in anything he does. He's fantastic in Halloween, The Great Escape from New York. He's just one of my favourite actors, and I think he did a really, really cool Blowfelt. So, and I can do an impression of Blowfelt. Here we go. What do you think of this one? The firepower in my crater guns could annihilate a small army. Oh, I tried. Okay, so moving on to 33, and we have Silver from Skyfall. Really good villain. Visually, he looks great. Dresses really amazing. Has really cool, presumably bleached blonde hair, and a backstory, which gives him a really good motivation. You can sort of tell the pain he's in from all his history he's had with them, and he sort of does well to carry this film, even though he's got no help from any sort of notable henchman. He's doing it entirely off his own back. The scene where he tries to assassinate M in the courthouse is just a brilliant, brilliant scene. The only thing that lets him down is probably his death scene. It's a little bit lame, just Bond turning up and throwing a knife in his back, but everything up to then, it's just a fantastic film. 32, Scaramanga. I am surprised that I didn't put him higher, and I think a lot of Bond fans who tried to do the same list as me probably would put him higher. I fully expected him to be top 10, top 20, but when I sort of evaluated what he does in The Man with the Golden Gun, there weren't as many parts that impressed me as much as I thought in my memory. And the funhouse bits, which should be where he really shows off his skill, when you think about it, all he really does is head to the back of his funhouse, hide away like a camper on Call of Duty, and just wait for his victim to sort of walk up to him. And in the middle of the movie, he doesn't really do much. He kills Maud Adams, which is not particularly impressive. But he talks a good game. He's got a great gun, the Golden Gun, obviously. Brilliantly played by Christopher Lee on the whole. He's still a great villain, don't get me wrong. Just not quite top 10, top 20 for me. Just isn't. And finally today, we've got Stromberg from The Spy Who Loved Me. Another villain I really enjoy. There's a scene that I particularly like near the beginning of this film, where he sort of pays off these professors for designing this microfilm, and then for some reason, instead of just killing them, he sends them into his helicopter to leave, and then you see them do this really cheesy handshake where they're grinning at each other for getting $10 million gun, and then he just blows them up with this red button. It's really, really good. I like the scenes as well where he sort of raises Atlantis in and out of the ocean to all this kind of opera music. That's really good. And it's just really good on the whole, but obviously a complete madman. I mean, we know from watching Waterworld that trying to create a world beneath the ocean or on the ocean just never going to work. But he tried. Right, that is the end of today's episode. We've gone from 40 to 31. Next time we'll be going into the top 30, gradually getting closer and closer to finding out who my favourite James Bond villain of all time is. I know, but you don't know yet. Okay, right. Goodbye for now.